Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Scorpio, is the number 12 and it says submission. And if you see further down, there is a glide for Venus on the left-hand corner, left-hand bottom corner. And on the right side, there is a glide for Pisces. This is number 12. So 1, 2, and 3 are coming through important with this energy. Now, if you look at the bird in the cage is open, but the bird doesn't want to fly away. So the bird is actually willingly surrendering to the cage. It further says, yielding can open the door to deeper love, compassion, and divine timing. Let go where forcing isn't working. Embrace faith, trust, and higher love. And it further says, I surrender to love and trust the divine flow. So the energy is all about surrendering control. Venus is exalted in Pisces. So it expresses itself in the most best way, right? And Venus is about love, divine love, purity and things like that. So this is a love that goes beyond our ego, that transcends our ego. So I feel that you might be surrendering in terms of, sometimes it happens that we have a system that we have to work with and, things get so difficult at times to push against some rigid policies and things like that. And then we feel that it's not worth it. Instead, try to find some, allies that can help you from the inside to make things work. Whatever would be better for the system to be. So instead of pushing hard against the external forces, try to find allies, work around that energy. For some of you, this might be like allowing other people to take the lead, whether it's in your personal relationships or professional relationships. You're like, okay, some battles are just not worth fighting. And it actually does work out better in sometimes. Because we don't have to get into and fall into with power struggles. We're just taking a step back out here, for allowing things to unfold, allowing the universe to, do its work in certain situations, and knowing that, some battles are really not worth fighting. So for some of you, you might be just letting go of things, brushing them aside, forgiving people wherever possible. And I feel that it's a great act, it takes strength, that it's great for liberation. So some of you might be into meditation or some kind of spiritual work or practices you want to incorporate. And, it's also Venus and Pisces is a powerful energy for creativity. So you could be studying up creative arts or crafts or performing arts or something like that. This is also about knowing where to draw the line. When we speak of submission, it's not about sacrificing yourself. You don't have to be the martyr, whether in work or in personal life. And also be careful because this energy is like it makes us very sensitive, highly sensitive to people and their terms. And there's a chance that some people might, they say things to have you on the corner. And sometimes there could be insincerity as well. So be mindful of the situations. And maybe some of you have experienced some kind of insincerity. It doesn't have to be, but this energy also causes people to draw away, to create, like to stay caged, to stay in their homes, to isolate from the general social scenes or, not mingling with people too much. So some of you could be like wanting some personal space or wanting to stay back home more by yourself, not interact too much with people. It could manifest in that way as well. Also be mindful of any kind of trap, whether it's in your personal life or a professional life. People might say the good things, just to win you over. And there might be, some kind of an insincerity, like I already mentioned before. So, and Scorpios, you're very smart at picking up those. So in case you do have somebody around, then you will be able to pick that up really fast. So I do feel that some of you right now are just, letting go. You're like, I'm not going to force any kind of outcomes. I'm just going to trust the process, see how things unfold. And, in doing that, sometimes we run into really good opportunities. You get really good opportunities and it turns out better than we had expected. So trust that better things are coming. The next card, Scorpio, you have is the number 26, the karmic. So 2, 6, and 8 are coming too strong with this energy. And it further says, play, humor, and levity are not distractions, but powerful tools of transformation. Use laughter as a bridge to truth, healing, and connection. And further down in the end, it says, I lighten the load to laughter, and in play, I find truth. So yeah, I mean, your previous card, Scorpio, was about surrendering, right? So surrendering to love, surrendering to, surrendering to love and to divine timing, to let things unfold in their own timing. And this energy of the karmic is asking you to release any kind of grudges or heaviness that you have in your heart, by being playful, but through laughter, through play. Because if you see, as a spiritual tool, humor is actually a spiritual tool. It's an alchemical tool that transforms pain into laughter. And, when we transform that, when we're playful, it actually allows us to bond better with people. It allows us to diffuse difficult situations. It connects people. It heals people. Even if you see there's a lot of sessions about laughter yoga, there's also a new kind of healing called as clown healing that's getting prominence these days. So these are ways of diffusing tension, of, just some of you could also be into stand-up, watching, or just, enjoying funny people around you, or you could be the funny one. This could also be just having a good time. It's like, of course, there is an underlying tension. There's an underlying truth that is being told. But then when we say it in, humorous way, it doesn't come across as aggressive or as strong. Not, even the most darkest of the situations or difficult of the situations can be expressed in a comic way, in a satirical way. You've seen a lot of comedy shows, like late night comedy shows that do that, very satirical, but they speak the truth, they express the truth in some way, trying to put the point across. So I do feel that you're trying to, speak your truth or speak difficult truths, or, sometimes when we learn some things, it's hurtful when we see, situations don't play out the way we want. It's a little bit hurtful, but when we kind of, there's a lesson in it, and then we use those learning moments as lessons, we get playful and humorous about it. And then, it kind of is easier to integrate those lessons. For some of you, this reminds me, the comics, like Charlie Chaplin. There is so much hope and love and laughter. The moment you speak about Charlie Chaplin, there is a laugh, there is a smile that comes to everybody's face. Same with Robin Williams, such a master comic, and he is able to bring smile and laugh and, create lighthearted situations. So it could be those moments. It can also be, this reminds me of gesture in the audio days. Gestures used to speak the truth, difficult truths that other people were afraid of speaking. So some of you could be being bold enough to bring the truth, but in a very lighthearted, playful way. And when we do that, actually, when we bring laughter or lightheartedness to a situation, it actually diffuses the fear of saying it and of how people are going to react. And it also reduces the possibility of a backlash, especially when we're being humorous about things. So, and in that situation, once we're able to spin things around in a very humorous way, it brings in more, it gives us more power, it gives us more influence over people, as coming across as very warm and friendly and humorous. So use your wit, use your, this is like use your wit, Scorpio, your fixed water sign, 8th house, intensity. Use that wit to change difficult situations into more balanced, more meaningful, cooperative situations. Use those difficult moments to learn the lesson and then inspire other people or help other people through lighthearted stories and things like that. And when people are able to laugh at themselves and laugh at some of the problems, instead of fighting and, things like that, it kind of revives difficult situations. It helps people get through the most difficult times. For some of you, when you bring in that lighthearted energy, it kind of opens the door to new opportunities because people know that you're able to thrive, survive during pressure, not making the situation more intense. So it's a really positive aspect, of a quality or personality to have. And I'm also getting, some of you also could be using like, some kind of stand-up comedy to raise money for charity or something like that. The next star you have, Scorpio, is number 4, and it says a 4 of Wands. It says, fire energy, Aries, your Sagittarius, are the fire signs. It says minor arcana. It further says, I honor the foundations I've built and celebrate the joy of belonging. So, Scorpio, I feel that this is a time for you to actually, you have, I feel, 4 of Wands is an energy of creating solid structures. It's an energy of feeling stable in some way, in some area. You've manifested whatever you have been working for. So now it's time to stop for a bit, stop the work, not stop the work, but, take a pause, celebrate how far you've come, celebrate those milestones, whether it's with your family, whether it's in your office place, in order to celebrate that stability. The small wins, the small victories that we work for constantly day in and day out, they need to be celebrated. So some of you might be actually celebrating those small victories or graduations or, anniversaries or things like that. This could also be cultural festivals, coming together as a community to celebrate some kind of festivals, like the Mardi Gras festival. That's so, that's a collect, when everybody comes together, as a collective and they celebrate their deep roots, cultural roots. So some of you could be doing that as well. For some of you, this could be related to wedding and marriage as well. For yourself, you might be reuniting, whether it's after separation or after. I feel that some of you could have been distant away, maybe in different countries, and now you're coming together, maybe taking the next step, wedding, engagement, and things like that. Or you could be attending weddings, like as shown in the picture. Some kind of a gathering, some community gathering, maybe some kind of reunions, maybe college reunions, or uniting together, in wedding or taking your wedding vows again. This can also be like some kind of community projects, like maybe you're, cleaning up the beach, or maybe participating in some wine tasting or some dance or art groups, some kind of a collective project as well is coming through this. But, when we celebrate, when we come together, it's called, especially celebrating milestones or something like that in I read a term, it's called ritualized celebration. When we do that, when we celebrate these milestones, it actually registers in our memory for a long, long time, as something that we achieved, how far we have come, the bonds that we celebrate through thick and, through ups and downs. So it actually registers in our memory way much more when we celebrate these moments. For some of you, this could be actually creating a home. Maybe you are building a home, maybe you're remodeling a home, to make it more personalized, more interior decorated. Or this could be even celebrating with your team, for accomplishing the fourth phase of your project or something like that, where you've been collaborating with a lot of people. So coming together and celebrating those small wins. And for some of you, this could be returning back home after, you stayed away for a year or two for some project purpose or something. It's a very homecoming energy. So a time to savor the bond, savor what you've created, savor the structure that you have created, the security that you have created, celebrating everyday success, the milestones, people we bond with, connect with. So those kind of celebrations. And the last card for today, Scorpio, you have is stop playing small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Courage, moving forward, making progress and action. Absolutely. This is you. This astronaut is you, Scorpio, highly, magnetic, charismatic, and you're bold. You're asked to be bold. You're asked to be, you're asked to, express yourself and to own your place in this world, Scorpio, and show this energy, to the people. And Scorpio, it's a time for you to claim your authority. You might be taking on some leadership roles, like, maybe you've been working in the background, but now it's time for you to step up and be visible, So some of you could be, getting ready to showcase your creative talents to the world. And, there's an astronomer here. Astronomers have discovered that, every human body is made up of 97% stardust. 97% stardust. So we literally are the universe in motion. So don't act small. Don't stay in the background. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Scorpios. So those were your messages. These being general messages will play out differently in your lives. Let me know how these play out in your life or in the environment around you. And hope you enjoyed your messages. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.